Well, you're looking at license plate number 10, and we'll actually be speaking with Brian Giles, who's the sweeper products manager for Elgin Sweeper Company. And I asked Brian off camera to tell me about license plate number 10, and it was such a good story I asked him to tell it again. So Brian, welcome, and please tell the World Sweeper audience what they should know. This chassis is on your Elgin Eagle, and I know it's a new chassis, and it's a very hot topic in the sweeping industry with these chassis, so you're the man to tell us.
Okay, Ranger, thank you. Let's start talking about the license plate that you noticed, and you were trying to figure out how we got license number 10. Well, this number actually designates the number of plates that are in existence, and all our plates are number 10 for our manufacturer plates, because we were the 10th manufacturer plate to be issued in the state of Illinois. The letter designates actually how many of these actually number 10 license plates that we have. And you can see this is a queue, so there's a whole bunch of these things that we use on a regular basis. But now that we've explained the number 10 license plate, let's talk a little bit about our new sweeper chassis. This is pretty much new to us, and the truck is going to be new to the industry. Of course, as everyone is probably aware of by now, kind of the standard sweeper chassis for the industry, the Sterling SC8000, was discontinued with the last emission change, and so everybody kind of went scrambling looking for chassis. Well, it turns out this is the one that we feel is going to be the best for the sweeper customer base. This is a Nissan diesel, or a UD truck, which is the same company, and it's called a UD 3300, and it's a 33,000 GVW truck, and there's several unique features that you'll find on this truck that you probably will not find on any of the truck in the sweeper industry today. The first thing I'll point out, and of course you see it's a cab over, and it is what's called a sleeper truck. Now, to us here in North America, we kind of get a chuckle out of calling this a sweeper truck. But in Japan, where this style cab was designed, this is actually considered the sleeper compartment.
And there's some members of our audience that are now saying, there's finally a place for the operator to sleep legitimately, but I'm sure that's not what it'll be used for.
Probably not, but it does make you think that it could get used that way.
So it gives you that extra storage room.
It does give you storage room. And it gives you a little more leg room and a little more back room, because you can tilt the seat a little farther than you could in the SC8000.
I must say that I've noticed a single steering column on some number of sweepers, but I've never seen a single steering column on the right-hand side. Tell us about that.
Excellent observation, Ranger. Well, we've known all along that in many instances in the sweeper industry, where the truck has had dual steering put in other words, a right steering wheel added to a traditional left-hand steer truck, that the left-hand steering wheel was never touched. So we had the opportunity in this case, as this truck is built and marketed to both right-hand and left-hand drive regions of the world, that we could buy it with just the right-hand steering wheel. That gets rid of all the extra mechanism and all the extra steering boxes and all the extra hassles that went along with dualizing trucks. Now, all that said, we're not restricted to only being right-hand drive. We're just starting with right-hand drive. If the customer so chooses, we can also add a left steering wheel. So rather than starting on the right and starting on the left and dualizing to the right, we are now starting on the right and dualizing to the left. The other nice thing about the dualization on this truck, as I mentioned, this truck is distributed out throughout the world in both right and left-hand orientations, so we can actually take the OEM parts that were made for the left-hand drive, and that becomes the dualization, so it becomes a true mirror image dualization, not unlike what we had with the Sterling SC8000.
Very good.
Some of the other nice features of this cab is it's very, very well appointed. It's much more automotive than the SC8000 was. It has a standard air ride seat. It has standard tilt telescope steering wheel. It has standard sound control package. This is a very quiet cab, quieter than any other sweeper chassis we've ever had. It comes with standard dome lights and map lights. We don't provide the radio as standard because there are so many different choices that people want. So what we've done is we provide what's called the radio install package. So this chassis is hardwired with an antenna, all the speaker wires, all the connectors, all the wires. They're all made that way. We can either put a radio in at the Elgin factory for you, or you can take off the blanking plate and plug in whatever radio you'd like to the existing wiring that's there. Another key thing about this truck, and I talked about it a little earlier, about the fact that one of the things that caused us to go truck shopping was the fact that the 07 emissions was not adopted by the Sterling SC8000. Well, this is an 07 emissions truck, and this is the diesel particulate trap, or DPF as it's often referred to. And you see we have very carefully here tucked it behind the cab. Now, this does take up a little extra room, and as we all know in the sweeper industry, shortness is next to godliness, but we felt that this was the absolute best compromise to put it here. And the reason that we chose this location is we feel it's very important that that trap not be near the ground, or even the exhaust outlet, because even that during a regeneration cycle can go to 1200 degrees. And as we all know, what do sweepers do? They push around leaves and trash underneath them. And we were not comfortable with having any exhaust now under the truck. So this standard configuration is now what you will see on all our cab overs going forward, will be a vertical exhaust.
All right. Well, where can someone find out more information about that? On the Elgin website?
Absolutely. There'll be plenty of information out at www.elginsweeper.com.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ranger.